Well, thank you very much, Mark, for the kind introduction. Welcome, everyone. I'm really happy that it's so crowded here in the work track. My name is Wolfgang. I'm CEO and founder of FLEKT. We are a Munich-based company and develop an augmented reality platform for enterprises, especially for the aftermarket, where you can create your augmented reality use cases on your own. And today I want to talk a little bit about the Big Five and what they don't typically tell you, and what you can do if you are working for an enterprise to make sure that your work in the future is being done successful. So let's start with a quick overview of what happened last year. Ori has also mentioned a couple of things in his keynote already. ARKit is out with over 13 million downloads worldwide. We have AR Core. The HoloLens has been sold 50,000 times. If you know what the HoloLens costs, then you know that this is quite a significant amount of money. We have Amazon out with a platform where you can create AR and VR content with. So there's a lot of activities going on from the Big Five. But really, what do they all want? They want to join you, or they want you to join their ecosystem. They want you to fully commit and to never get out of that ecosystem again. So, what do they not tell you? What should you take care about if you think about entering the AR space, if you want to do augmented reality in your enterprise? I've got 3 examples of what you should take care about and what the Big Five are not typically telling you. The first one is, most enterprises do not accept markers. They want to track their objects. They want to track the real vehicle, the real machine. Especially in the automotive industry, this is a big topic. None of our customers, for instance, is accepting to put marker on the exterior of a vehicle. So you want to track your physical object. And how you want to do that is typically from CAD. So you want to take the CAD information and you want to create a so-called tracking configuration to create that tracking. Because typically, you don't have the physical object in front of you to kind of start creating your tracking map. And that is still a challenge, but I can tell for most products, it's already working. Second is, you want to have semantic content. So if you talk about creating augmented reality use cases, then you have different roles in your organization. And you want to serve your users depending on their role, depending on their tasks. You want to make sure that you separate the content from the visualization so that the content can live forever, basically. So if you tailor your content to one specific device, to one specific platform right now, what happens if in a year from now the device is being updated, there's a new device? You want to make sure that your investment is not completely for the bin, so that you can reuse your content, that the content lives forever. And you want to be independent from hardware and platforms so that you can really start scaling the content for your specific use case. Also, typically, when you start looking into augmented reality, you ask yourself the question, okay, how can I now start? And typically, you then work with consultants, you start maybe working with an agency, with software developers, but really working with software developers on scaling augmented reality is probably not the best idea because it costs a huge amount of money. So you want your specialists, your technical writers who know how the machine is working, who know how the machine is operating and what the field technicians have to do to maintain the machine and to repair the machine, you want them to create the content. And you want them to use the technical documentation and to use the engineering data, which is already available somewhere in your company. So, what they don't tell you is basically you already have everything you need. And I'm going to tell you what that is in a second. You don't need to commit to one of the major players. Instead, you can build everything on your own and merge between all of them. That's what I would recommend if I was looking into AR as an enterprise. So I want to give a quick step-by-step guide to your augmented reality use case. First, look at the problem. What are the costs related to that problem? What is the revenue which I lose related to that problem? Look at your environment. Am I outdoor? Am I indoor? What is the machines looking like? Are they changing? Is everything mobile? Is everything fixed in a room? Then ask yourself the questions, is the solution really augmented reality? I mean, still, I'm working in that space for almost a decade now, and I figure that a lot of times we're talking about technology still. We're trying to sell the technology, but really, if you take it realistic, augmented reality is just a visualization technology, and it doesn't solve everything. It doesn't solve all the problems you have. So is augmented reality the solution to your problem? If you figured out, yes, it could be a solution to your problem, then calculate the ROI. Marcus just said how you could approach that. ARIA is helping with that, for instance. But you can also do your own ROI case studies. Do you have to integrate with legacy systems, which is a big topic in enterprises? Do you have safety considerations for your field workers? Do you have a worker council which you have to take care of, which you have to basically integrate in your project? And what is coming also back a little bit to the environment, what is your user? Do you have to give something to the user which he can use plug and play, or do you have the opportunity to train them, for instance? Now, if you thought about that, and we, coming from Germany, we typically write a 250-page document to define all of these questions. That's not necessary. I'd like to go more the American way, write it down on a piece of paper, really very high level, but think about those questions. Now, if you have answered that question, then basically you can ask yourself, do you have the following things? Do you have people, and do you have software where you can create engineering data for manufacturing? And do you today have handbooks, manuals, technical documentation for your products? I'm pretty sure if you have some heavy machinery, some physical products somewhere in your organization, there must be documentation. And typically, at least, let's say mid-sized enterprises and more, typically those traditional or those manuals, they're not being produced with a Word or PowerPoint presentation anymore. Because if you change the format, then you would have to redo everything. So you want to separate the content from the layout, as I said before. And when you have all of that, you're ready to get started. And then it looks like this. You take your technical documentation, which is typically being done in a XML system. So XML is kind of the exchange format. You take your engineering data, the CAD data, from the systems you already have. And the only thing, basically, you add to that is a so-called tracking configuration, what I've explained before. And typically, you want to have a so-called model-based tracking. So you derive it from CAD so that you can initialize, that you can recognize the physical object. And when you have everything together, you can publish it onto a server. And from that server, you could then fetch that into a runtime viewer, into a runtime client, on any of the, on the right side mentioned platforms, iOS, Android, Windows, augmented reality glasses, because what you can do is you can define templates for all of these platforms which interpret that content in the appropriate way and therefore become intelligent. And this is how we act. This is how we act with our platform. We call it Reflect One. So we are trying to separate that content creation from the actual visualization. And that makes you independent from all of the big five to join their ecosystem and never get out again. And when you do that, you are essentially being prepared to make maintenance and operations of complex machinery as easy as using a simple kitchen appliance. That's my dream, and that's what I work for every day. I really want to work or repair my washing machine because I just had that a couple of months ago on my own without having the pain to go through all of the service and support hotlines to get it done and then end up buying a new washing machine because I simply can't do that. So we want to make maintaining and operating complex machinery as easy as using a simple kitchen appliance. Now, if you want to know more about that, we do have a booth here, 511. Come join us. You could also always come to our office in San Francisco. We've opened that at the Vault beginning of the year. The guys there are pushing hard on new technologies. We have quite a good collaboration. So come by, challenge us on the experiences we've made, especially with European customers, with European industries, and know and get to know how we kind of approach that topic of scalability. Because now we're kind of getting out of that prototype and pilot phase into more of the rollouts in the future, and you want to make sure you get it right. Thank you very much. Is there questions? I think we get Slido again, right? Have you seen a geo-distributed development architecture global with a shared code library to be successful in AR? Well, geo-distributed, you could say Pokemon Go is kind of a geo-distributed development, which was working quite well. I also know that Google has introduced location-based services in their maps in the meanwhile. But for industries or for enterprises globally shared with a kind of an own architecture, honestly speaking, I have not seen that much in that regards. But also, that's not what we are working on a daily basis. We are kind of working on heavy machinery, on repairing and maintaining heavy machinery. And that's why, to be very honest, I'm not so deep in all the geo-distributed developments right now. That's it. Thank you. Thank you.